No, I mean the training for elected officials.
Yeah.
Training for aldermen, because it's true, most of us come into it with absolutely no experience. We all come from other lives, you know,
Well,
and all of a sudden we're aldermen.
When I was a legislator, people were
Back to his other one.
operating on what they learned by doing it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of gaps that arise. I'll tell you a story. When I was presiding officer of the county legislature in the 90s, I had a great friend named Danny Alfonso. You might
Oh, yeah.
remember him. He was a very big guy, and he was an imposing person. You know, he was, because of his physicality and his loud voice, he would take some of the air out of the room. And I was presiding, and he started talking, and I gaveled him down. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "You're out of order." He said, "What do you mean I'm out of order?" I said, "You aren't recognized, you're out of order. When I recognize you're in order." But he had learned that if he jumped up and he talked loud enough, he'd get his turn first. So he wasn't a bad man. He wasn't stupid. He was well motivated. But people learn how to behave from what they see, and they don't have formal training. And if they don't have formal training, they don't have a common basis for action. You know, they don't all know the same things and abide by the same beliefs and understandings.
Yeah, I think you end up taking the advice of somebody else. Like Doug, my first year, I kind of presumed there was going to be training for us, you know, to figure out even the simplest things, you know, how to get things started in a committee. I mean, we weren't aware of any of that. So I think most of us pick out somebody else in the group and, you know, have them mentor us. So
Well, there's not a lot of
if they know everything,
It's fine.
that's great, yeah, but if they're teaching them the wrong thing, it's
Well,
not.
people don't have a patience. People don't have patience really for formal, and people learn different. Some people, you know, teachers are used to people learning by reading books and going to classes, but people learn from experience, and
Yeah, I think this,
if they're an insurance salesman, they learn from that business, and if they're have a liquor store, they learn business from having a liquor store. You know, they have experience that's germane and transferable, but they're really gaps, you know.
I think there's something to be said for you get thrown into it and see if you can swim. It's survival, as opposed to a methodical 3 weeks of, you know, hourly training and this and that, some of which may interest you, some of which not. But you're in a job like running a finance committee and the budget's before you. You just learn by doing it. You make
Yeah.
mistakes, but
have
you
to
learn
know-
by doing it.
You have to know a balance sheet. I know a lot of my colleagues couldn't read a balance sheet. They had a hard time understanding, you know, the difference between cash flow issues and budget issues. Those kinds of things were hard. You know, they're hard for people to, in the first instance, you know, pick up. Why don't I defer to Jennifer?
Actually, I think it's just so valuable what you're giving us right now. In fact, I wish we could hire you right now to help us rewrite the charter.
That's the only reason I'm here. Why would I come and do this for nothing when I could be
But
having
I'd like
supper
to-
or watching the ball game?
So here's
I'm
what I'd
just
like to
kidding, I'm
do.
just kidding.
So what I'd like to do in this pause is just let you know what I'm hearing that could help, you know, the discussion on my part, but also hear part two, because I think people need to see part two. But what I'm going to be able to do in responding to that is give some examples of the things you brought up that are illustrative from the Ulster County Charter. Not that we're here to necessarily talk about the Ulster County Charter. It's more generally speaking about reform, but we have things that need to be reformed that we've been learning. And the other thing would be maybe just to talk a little bit about the process that we went through, just because I was a part of that. And I'm no expert on charters, but I can tell you what's sort of been working a little bit in Ulster County, as well as potentially how we might set something up that was similar to what we did together 10 years ago for Ulster County. But I think it would be good to walk through the second part